Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Vulnerability Let's Talk. And today's topic is being the person that you want to be. My name is Dr. Ayisha Zakia Jefferson, and I am a spiritual life coach. I am also a professor and a Black and Brown beauty activist, amongst many other things that I do, like writing. So we're going to have some returning awesome guests, coach and entrepreneur Jonathan Harris, coach and entrepreneur on so many levels, Miss Yolanda Stone, and we're also going to have MD, coach and entrepreneur, Dr. Catherine Ega Phillips. And so I already see that Yolanda Stone is here. So let me go in and I'm inviting you now. And I will wait for the others to join along. I just invited you, Yolanda. Hello, hello.
Hi. I'm
Hey,
the new
lady.
member.
How are you?
I am good. How are you?
I'm good. So we'll wait for, I see Kat. Kat, I'm going to send an invitation for you now. I think I just missed her. Okay. Well, maybe I just need to wait just a second. Okay, Kat, I see you now. I just invited you. Hey, Kat.
Hey,
How are you?
I'm great.
All right,
Just
good.
finished my day.
All right, and I guess we're waiting on Jonathan. And so while we're waiting, I will let you know the reason why I chose to do this particular topic is because I actually saw uh, Oprah pose this question. And she wasn't the only one I saw, but it was, for whatever reason at that moment, her posing the question stuck out to me. Are you the person that you want to be? And I was like, whoo, am I the person that I want to be? So it made me sit there and think about it for a second. But I wanted to, because I wanted to do this topic, because my mission is to give life for people to love themselves first. I want to make sure that we're also giving ourselves life. And I feel like we often talk about how, or often we hear topics about how others have broken our hearts. But many times we're breaking our own hearts by not being the person that we know that we're meant to be on a daily basis. And so I wanted us to really unpack this question and hopefully help others to unpack, because I feel like there's times when people feel like they are like running on a treadmill, or feeling like life is not what it's meant to be, or feeling sad and not understanding, or not encountering the people that they feel like they're supposed to. But I feel like we emanate the energy that we want to draw to us. And so I feel like unpacking questions like this helps us get to the core so that we can be who I feel God wants us to be, you know, who, whatever it is that connects us to our soul mission. So that's why this question came up. And I was thinking, I was like, maybe I want to do something else, because this is kind of like, what is this? But for whatever reason, it's sticking with me. So I feel like, you know, through us like talking together, it'll make more sense why I felt led to ask this particular question. So I do see Jonathan. Hold on just a second. All right, Jonathan, I just invited you. And so I am repeatedly going to say this. Hey, Jonathan.
Hi.
I'm repeatedly going to say this. We do not claim to be the expert on the subject matter. We claim to be the expert in our life experiences here. Okay. And so I do want us to, because the questions, I was very strategic with the questions. So I want us to stick to answering the question. Okay. I don't know what happened to my little lighting, but okay. My whole lighting just went out. That was cute. Well, y'all can still
You
see.
still look great. You still look great.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. All right. That was interesting. All right. So I will go ahead and we'll just jump right into it. Well, you know what, Yolanda, do you want to introduce yourself? You didn't get to introduce yourself last week.
Oh, yes. Sorry, guys. I was not available last week. I was out on business, a grand opening. So my name is Yolanda Stone. I love to laugh and joke and to have a good time. I am a mother of 2 beautiful children. I am a fiance. I'm a contracting officer for the United States government. I am an entrepreneur. I'm a co-owner of a successful mental health business in Chicago and in Virginia. And many more things, as Ayisha already stated. That's a little bit about me.
All right. Thank you. I love the full expanded introduction of yourself. Beautiful. All right. So first question, are you the person you want to be?
Wow.
Do you feel right now in your life that you are the person that you want to be? Without moving on to any of the other questions, just that first one, do you feel like right now?
I am still trying to figure out the person that I want to be, because for me, it changes all the time. And I guess it depends on what my focus is each day. But my overall goal is to experience freedom, is to get up and do whatever the hell I want to do while still accomplishing all my goals, giving back to the community, giving to myself and my family. So I'm still a work in progress to figure out who do I want to be and all that I can do and all that I can be.
Okay. Anybody else want to answer?
My great cat. Great cat.
That's a nomination. I can go. Oh, you going?
Oh, all I'm gonna say is I'm becoming the person I want to be. I'm still envisioning it here, but okay. I'm in pursuit of it. You know, so yeah. So that's it. I'm still becoming.
All right, and I'm gonna just answer. Lily said, "I'm not yet the person that I want to be. God is not through with me yet." All right, Lily.
I would say the same as what everyone's been saying. I think it's to a certain extent, I am the person I want to be. And there's some tweaks or fine-tune refinement that I want to add into that. I don't think I'm far, but I'm still learning, because the person I want to be changes all the time as well, just like Yolanda said. So, yeah.
Yeah. I feel like with myself, as far as the person I want to be, I think at a time I might have said that I might have said at the time that like I met the mark, but I always feel like once I get close, then it like the line gets a little bit further, and it's like, oh, okay, there's a little bit more that I have to strive to. And as soon as I think that I make it there, then the line gets moved up a little bit. So yeah, I feel like the more and more I learn and discover, the more I realize that there's more, if that makes any sense. Yeah. So my next question is, do you think the person that you want to be aligns with who you're supposed to be, like your purpose or calling?
I'm gonna say, for me, yes, definitely. Because I think, like, for me, it's like I'm always emerging and changing, but it's because of how ambitious I am, but how focused I am on just being a better person. Because every day, so I choose to be a better person. So every day I'm choosing to be good, right? So in my destiny in my life, it all aligns together and all works together because it helps me to, I don't know. I want to say, because actually, this is actually a deep question. I thought about it, but I just like, let me just focus on doing what I can do, right? But I definitely think so, yes.
Okay. Anybody else want to answer that?
Yeah, I 100% believe that to be true. I
Okay.
believe that's my compass, is
Mm-hmm.
always how am I most aligning with that. And then also when I envision like my higher self, that to me is always the closest representation of like the type of compliments I want to receive from people. Like
Mm-hmm.
not just like, oh, y'all locks are pretty, but like, oh, she left a presence in the room when she left, or she, I felt this, after interacting with her, or she healed, like those type of compliments are when I feel like I'm getting warmer and warmer and warmer. So yeah, I think that is 100% true for me.
Okay.
Great question. I will, wow. So I still struggle because the person that I envision myself versus what God has aligned for me is different. So the spiritual path that I know, I'm still working that angle out, and it still makes me super nervous because it's bigger than what I know and can comprehend. So I'm slowly navigating that way. So for me, I'm like, yes, I want this, I want that, and it's very materialistic. So I still have to find out how to navigate that spiritual path without becoming overwhelmed and just nervous of what could be and what should be.
Yeah. I would have to piggyback off of that one. I feel like the person that I saw myself being, and I don't want to say this like I'm trying to downsize myself, but I feel like the person that I saw myself to be versus what I feel like the vision that I've had that God has for me, my version has been very tangible, and it has been very, I don't know. It's been very tangible. Like, I can't even explain it, but I feel like the magnitude of what God has me on, it's something that it's something that I feel like I can't even fathom yet. Yeah. I, yeah. Yeah. And I guess I would say that from like, probably from the spiritual aspect, but other things as well. I just felt like my scope was just very limited. And I don't think I gave myself license to think bigger than I was thinking. Yeah. All right. So what do you think? And I guess I gave myself kind of my own segue. What do you think blocks us from being the person that we want to be? So your own personal experiences and things that you've seen from others.
I would say fear.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's fear of how it'll be received, fear of messing up, maybe fear of getting it right.
Mm-hmm.
The fear of the unknown. Like, what
Mm-hmm.
is this going to look like? What is this going to be like? And I think that would be the biggest thing. And then other things would fall under that, like confidence and, all of that. But fear to me would be the biggest answer, though.
Okay.
Yeah. So piggybacking off what Kat already said, for me, it's procrastination too. That could be triggered by fear. That and then just the responsibility. I'm like, I don't want any more responsibility. My plate is already full, but that's still just an excuse because I can find time to do whatever I want to do. So I think for me, it's procrastination and then just the overall responsibility.
Mm.
I need the question again. What was the question?
What do you think blocks us from being the person that we want to be?
No, really everything that everybody just said. What stops us from being the person that we want to be? Ourselves, not understanding, not knowing. Sometimes like we all live in our own little box. And sometimes to be bigger and better, you have to break out of that box that the world has put you in, that your family has put you in, that your friends have put you in, that you have put yourself in. So especially when you're going to chase your purpose or you're going for something bigger, you have to lose all expectation. You know, like a lot of times, like you have the fear, you have you have so many things that the fear of responsibility, the fear of success, we have that box. So I think that's what stops us a lot of times, honestly. But it's really the expectation. It's the expectation of who you think you're supposed to be.
Yeah.
Because the higher you get and the more you do, the more successful you become, the more narrow things become and the harder it is because you have a lot to lose now. So you don't want to lose it. So you like, well, damn, I don't want to fuck up. So I just got to keep going. So you're afraid of change. So a lot of times the thing that really stops us from changing and shifting and growing and accepting the life that we want is the fear of changing stuff up.
Wow. Yeah, absolutely. I don't even have anything really to add to that, to be honest with you. I was trying to think of something else. I was trying to think of something deep, but I couldn't. I was like, let me go in. I can't. But you guys all did it. It's all right. Beautiful. So I would like, again, perfect segue. We talked about fears. What are some fears? Because I like, you know, real tangible examples. What example can you think of fears that have blocked you, even if it's something small, from being who you want to be?
Something small.
I said, even if it's something small, it doesn't have to be something small.
Something. I don't know. Okay, I don't know why I'm sorry. I think I'm sleepy. Okay, what was the question again? One more time.
So we
One time
talked
for the
about,
people in the back,
okay.
please.
We talked about things that have blocked us.
Okay.
So what are some fears that have, like, an example of a fear that has blocked you?
I will always say, okay, so for me, my fear of not being good enough, you know, or being found out that I'm not as smart as people think I am, or I'm not as smart as people think I am. So that always stops me. So again, the higher you get, the more people you work with, the more things you do, you're like, damn, how long can I keep this up? So you get scared. So it really is like imposter syndrome because you're scared that you think, you almost feel like you don't have enough time to become the person that people think you are, but also the person that you envision yourself to be. So for me, it's been like, I guess it's one of my core beliefs that I've been working on for years is that feeling of just not being good enough. So you always want to overachieve, but then you have to learn how to just chill and relax. Hopefully I just answered it. I don't know. But
you did.
Okay.
You did.
That's why I like when other people go so I can listen to what they say. I'm going to stay off of what they say. So Kat and Yolanda, I'm going to be in the middle. I'm going to be in the meat. I'm the sandwich, you know?
I think an example for me, it's funny you even asked this because this is something I just realized like last week. So, because I was really thinking after talking to you, Jonathan, I was just really like, why am I, like, what is the fear? Like, what am I afraid of? But I really think I'm afraid of getting too out there, like too known, too big, because the real fear is losing control of my own narrative. That's the fear. And I feel like I feel comfortable where I am. Like I can let y'all see me, but I can control how much y'all see me. You know, I can control what y'all see. I can control what y'all hear. And there's a certain point where you lose a lot of that control because your life becomes the world. And that right there is not the move for me, not yet. So I think that is my fear, is just somebody either taking and reconfiguring what I'm trying to say. And like, that's not it at all. And then it's just out there and it's all over the internet and the world. And it's like, I can't even keep up fast enough with what is being said. And then just the maximum exposure of like, wow, like I can't move the way that I'm comfortable moving. You know, when I look at like my friends who are like celebrities, I'm always just like, I just want to be like y'all's friend. I don't know that I want to be one. Yes. But
Right.
so when the trajectory starts getting close to that, or things, I get glimpses of that, it is a little bit like daunting to me. Like, okay. And then I start making myself small. And I
Yeah.
caught myself doing that. And just established that last week. So thank you for that question.
Mm-hmm. Yolanda, did you have anything to add?
I think for me, it's some of kind of what Jonathan said, imposter syndrome, and not thinking that I am where I need to be at the time. So I have a lot of missed opportunities because I didn't think I was good enough to apply for a position or apply for grants. Like overall, I had a lot of missed opportunities because I didn't think I was good enough to apply.
Mm. Yeah, ditto for a lot of that on me. Thank you. I think for me too, I feel like I'm often concerned about I do see myself like on a grander scale when I look through like that God scope, but I think the fear happens. I wonder if I'm always going to be living in my truth. You know what I'm saying? I want to make sure that, kind of like Kat just said, I don't want to become a contortionist. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to have to like reconfigure myself for other people to keep a name or keep a brand or keep a certain lifestyle or keep a certain amount of money. Like I want to be Ayisha. You know what I'm saying? I want to always be Ayisha. I want to encounter you guys, and I don't know. I want it to be so much so that if somebody else said something different about me, y'all would hear it and be like, nah, that don't sound like her. You know what I'm saying? Like, I always want to be myself. I always want to, it's not even necessarily acceptance by others, but self-acceptance is really important to me too. I want to be able to look at myself in the mirror. So that is a hindrance. You know, if I'm blocking myself from anything, that probably is one of them, even for me. I want to be able to look at myself in the mirror and say, you remain true to yourself.
Yeah.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. The next question is, and I know it kind of like sounds similar, but it is a little bit different. What are some habits that hinder us from being who we want to be? So we talk about fear, but what are the like specific habits? So I'm like funneling it down.
Okay. For me, procrastination, not planning the way that I need to plan. I'm being intentional about that. And sometimes I just get lazy because I'm mentally exhausted a lot. But for me, it's definitely procrastination. I, for just yeah, my biggest one is procrastination.
Okay. Procrastination. Anybody else?
Mine is definitely is overcommitting.
Yep.
Oh.
I overcommit. So once I overcommit, that is I could be doing very, very good, but one way that I self-sabotage myself is I overcommit. I start doing well and I can manage stuff and I'm juggling and I'm like, oh my God, I got these three. And I'm like, give me 4, give me 5, give me shit.
Wow.
Never mind. Pause. Start over. So for me,
Mm-hmm.
it's definitely overcommitting.
Yep. That one.
Wow.
I just realized that about myself like an hour ago. But people have been telling me, Yolanda and Kat, they've been telling me, Evan, they've been telling me for a while, but I'm just now getting it. So I understand now. But that's definitely one thing that stops me from being who I'm destined to be. You know, not even who I'm choosing to be, but who I'm destined to be is overcommitting.
Okay.
Yeah, Kat, go ahead. You up next. Come on. See, I had to go for you. Okay, look.
I'm coming. No, I resonated with both of those hard. So I'm come up with my own. I would say for me, oh man, which one's worse? Okay, this is the worst one. For me, the habit that I would say the worst, I was gonna say checking out, because sometimes I'll just fall off the grid like ostrich effect, like head in the sand when things get too overwhelming. And it's like, where's Kat at? And then I'll resurface when I'm ready. But I think the bigger one is not asking for help, like trying to do everything by myself. Like trying to power through everything by myself. Like, I can do it. I can do it. And got all the people on my back. And I'm like, I got it. My knees are buckling. But I'm like, no, wait, just give me some room. And it's like, you don't have to do that.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's like a thing. I don't know. I don't like it. So you would think I would not do it. But I don't know. I don't know.
Wow. Yes, I was going to definitely say overcommitting. I'll probably say it in a different way. I'm overcoming this one, though, saying yes to things that I know I shouldn't always say yes to, but I know there's something you do have to pull, but I would overly say yes. And definitely asking for help is really, really difficult for me. Another thing that I have, for whatever reason, I'm having a hard time saying this one, but this is really my truth. If I don't feel like I look a certain way, I won't. Yeah. I won't do it. I will make every excuse. Now, will I initially say that's the reason why? No, but that's usually the underlying reason why. Like when I finally, that's not even the first thing that I'll say to myself. But if I don't feel good about my weight, if I don't feel good about the way my skin looks, if I don't feel like especially if it's something that I have to do like publicly, it will block me from who I want to be. And so I definitely, and we've talked about this. Yeah. So it'll make me miss opportunities. It'll make me not apply for positions. It'll make me turn down a speaking engagement. It'll make me turn down teaching assignments or anything like that where I have to be, even things online, I won't want to do it. Because in those moments, even though I know the message is important, I still got to look at my face on here. And if I don't feel good about the way that my face looks on here, I'm, before I say it to anybody else, I have to be convinced that what I'm saying is the truth. I don't like feeling like a liar to myself. Yeah. And so if I feel like that, then how is that going to come off to the audience? You know what I'm saying? And so, that's a habit, but emotional eating is definitely a thing for me. So, and that is something that I am also, having to learn to overcome as well, I think we've kind of gone into this question. I'm just going to read it how I wrote it. But I still want to answer it like explicitly. Do you think that when we don't become who we really are, that we don't complete our godly assignment?
Oh, girl, these are deep questions. I should have meditated before I came on here. Ooh, I didn't go over the list. Okay, hold on. Let me just. Okay. Go ahead. No, Kat.
I feel like I just went. Okay. If do I feel that if I don't become who I want to become?
Yeah.
Is that the question?
Do you think that when you don't become who you really want to become, that you don't complete your godly assignment?
Yeah. You need somebody type that chat, people.
Because who you want to become and who God wants you to become can be two different people.
Yeah,
so I don't know. It depends on how you view the question.
I think so. I can. Okay, so I'll say something. Hold on, Kat. You ready?
Oh no, go ahead.
So I'll say, for me, I had a lot of things that I wanted to do in my life, and I still have a lot of things that I want to do, right? And a lot of things that I wanted to do don't necessarily, for me, it didn't always align with what God was calling me to do. Mm-hmm. So for me, like, I wanted to be an FBI agent. Like I wanted to be FBI. I wanted to be either ER doctor or FBI agent. But look at my life now. You know, and I love my life now. So I love it now, right? So I love it. I love the process and I love who I am. But it really took, I had to learn how to lose my ego, to lose, again, my expectations. So me being a Virgo and me being a double Virgo, I'm very much on control. This is what I want. This is what I want to do. This is how I want to do it. And I lack patience half of the time. So my whole existence is based off of being patient. But it's really like, so what God wants for me, I trust God more than I trust what I see, right? Because I know what I see is conditioned by my experiences. So I had to, as I reconditioned myself and I began to unlearn stuff, I was able to really fall into what God had for me and to realize that that just is me giving up my good so that I can really receive my great. But I couldn't receive it because I'm always looking for the good. What's good for me? What's right for me? But it's not about that because God has something bigger and better. So I think that, yeah, when you lose who you think you're supposed to be and step into who you know yourself to be, you actually win and you gain more at the end of the day and at the end of your life.
Good stuff. Anybody want to add on to that?
Ayisha, you got us doing these. Girl, you should say take a shot before you get on this call.
Hey,
we gotta do some stuff before we get on. I didn't read the questions today, so I'm like, yes, let's go, yay!
I don't think I would have failed like my mission or my purpose for God. I don't think I have failed it. Because I think anything that we do, we still have a learning opportunity, and that was still a part of that journey. I may not fulfill it all the way, depending upon, how long I live, but I would want to be, by the time I get, 80-something, fulfilled it to the best of my ability to get there. I don't know if I can ever fulfill that role.
Kat, did you want to add on?
Yeah, I was thinking along the lines of what Yolanda just said. I feel that failed is a strong word. And that's what I was kind of grappling with. Like, I don't think it's like finished, like you didn't make it. I feel like just by me showing up and trying every day, making a conscious effort every day, making a choice every moment to be good, to do good.
Yeah.
And to do what I know I'm supposed to be doing. I feel like that in and of itself is like, okay, good job. I don't know that it'll be like 100% alignment, but I feel like that's part of it is to just do it in my way, but to still be keeping my eye on the goal, if that makes sense. So I don't know. It's interesting because earlier you asked a different rendition of that, and I felt like the person I wanted to be was similar to who God wanted me to be. So that would make this question be like, I don't think I would fail.
Well, you came out of the womb focused. You came out, I want to heal the world. I eat your child. Look, just how your child is, that's how you start. So you had to start before you came. Nah.
Perfect. Yeah, just like I said, just a little tweak in the questions. So the next question is, like I said, they're all kind of piggybacking off of one another. But have you ever placed yourself in a space where you were what others wanted you to be versus being who you knew yourself to be?
I ever placed myself in a space of what others wanted me to be?
Yeah. Where you lived up to what others wanted you to be versus who you knew yourself to be.
Yeah. I think we all did.
So give me examples.
I told you, Ayisha.
The people need to know.
Let me go get loosen up my brain a little bit. I'm like, oh.
Sip my water.
So for me, that's like every day. I gotta be a mother. Sometimes I don't feel like like it. But my son is going to be like, Mommy, I am hungry. Can you please get up and fix? Like, so it's some things that, you know, I don't want to do, but I have to because God blessed me with kids. So when God through my 2 kids in the mix of everything, I knew what I wanted to do was not going to happen the way I wanted to happen. Okay. So, you know, even showing up as a business owner, I have to, sometimes I feel like I'm a chameleon where I have to adapt to meet people where they are so they can grow as a person as well. So I'm still not being my true authentic self because I'm very direct. So a lot of times I have to change to adapt to the people that are in my life. Now, if you've been around me too long, my true self will start coming out. You know, as much as I can hold in, because like I said, I'm a lot. I have a very strong personality that can be intimidating and overwhelming for a lot of people that's close for me. So yes, I do. In the environments that I feel like I can just be myself is when nothing is really going on. And you know, everybody's oh, Yolanda's going to say this or, you know. So it's like in the environments where I feel free, I am myself the most. But like in controlled settings, I adapt to whatever I need to adapt in that situation.
All right.
Can I ask a quick question?
Yeah.
Ayisha, did you come up with these questions while you was in town in Atlanta? Because if you did, don't do them questions no more. This is good. It's making me think. But
they were building. They were building.
These are very much professor questions. Yes.
Yeah. Life together questions.
No, I feel, yes. Have I ever lived out the way other people want me to live versus who I really am? Yeah, I tried it. I tried it a few times. I feel like those moments were what sealed the deal to let me know that that's not what I wanted to do anymore. So I appreciate those moments because I tried it. I tried to conform. I tried to live up to other people's standards. I tried to blend in, to fit in, to be accepted, to be looked at as normal, you know, and yeah, that was probably the most miserable times of my life. And I was like, yeah, I'm a straight unicorn. Like, why am I trying to be in a horse stable? So I had to realize that for myself through doing that and seeing how that felt on the inside. Like my whole training and education was that, like going to medical school, being on campus, being the only Black girl, the only Black person, and then the only female on that whole section of the campus. Having people tell me, oh, are you lost? Are you looking for this? You know, and I'm like, no, I'm in the medical program, you know, and then trying to fit in and not talk and keep myself small about what I really felt. And, you know, like, this doesn't make sense what y'all are teaching. Like all of that. Yeah, that was my younger years.
Wow.
And yeah, it was not the
They probably would kick me out.
They were yeah, if I went back now, I would be kicked out for real. I'm already getting kicked out now in places.
Wow.
So yeah, we weren't meant to be there and to do that as thought leaders. So you just have to step up to the plate. But yeah, I tried it.
Yeah. It's those moments where you feel like you have to like break loose and I don't know, you almost really don't have another choice but to either bow down or stand up. There's really like not an in-between in there. But Yolanda, I definitely feel you as much as I can as far as in those roles, like you said, in like motherhood, where there's not always those moments where you want to be in that position, but you have to. I definitely was thinking about even with me, like there's moments when I go into the classroom where I don't want to be a teacher. And I have been honest with my students in those moments. Like I will walk in and say, hey, you know I love you, right? and be like, yeah, Dr. J, but you know, I don't want to be here either, right? But I feel like those moments where I tried to put on that I was okay, I had to fight so hard through those classes that when I allowed myself just to be honest with my students, those were teachable moments even for them, that it's okay to be human even in the workplace. You know what I'm saying? Because those times where I was allowed, like fighting myself to be a freaking robot in corporate America and in academia, I felt like I was dying, and I felt like I hated going in there. But when I allowed myself to go in there and be a human, I understood myself more, but they also understood me. And then we were able to get through the lesson, you know? And so, and I would let them know that too. Like, this is an opportunity for you to know that when you go in the workplace, you can be yourself. It's okay to have emotions, you know? I can remember a time where I even walked into the classroom because I was told, and even to an extent, I made myself believe that I had to wear a suit every day to go to work. And it just didn't feel right. It felt really stuffy for me. I don't have a problem with anybody who wears suits. I love them. I love seeing them, all that. It's just not me. And so I was feeling like an imposter. And I remember one time I tried to wear something. I really have kind of like a boho style for those who don't know me. But there was a time that I tried to wear something that didn't feel like me. And I actually had a student who said, "Good job. You actually look like a professor today." And it almost got to me. It almost got to me. And then I said, you know what? I look like a professor every single day when I walk in here because that's who I am. And I just stood and I looked at her. And guess what? The rest of the class just started clapping. And so that was me standing in my power bit, but I could have made a decision to fold in that moment because it did sting when she actually said it. But when I was like, I can't let her have this. But I felt like even that she was used as a test, and that can be definitely a metaphor for so many other places in my life. You know, where I've had situations like that where I just had to kind of like, okay, it was said, now stand in it. And be firm in who you are. And I've had to do that time and time again, but that's not easy. So thank you for everything that was said. So this question is just a little off our second to last question. Do you think that people often want power or to be valued?
I say really, I think probably both. A lot of people think that the more power they have, the more that they will be valued.
Oh.
So I think that it's kind of both, you know, but they don't understand that they're already valuable. And that's something I had to come to understand for myself. Like, I had to come to understand it on my journey, you know, because sometimes you think that the external is going to fulfill the internal. But you learn once you get a lot of external stuff, it don't. And if you got to get right on the inside of you. So I had to learn that the value was in me, not outside of me. But I think a lot of people kind of confuse it, but they just miss the mark a little bit because they don't understand how valuable they are, and they don't go through the discovery process to really identify what is right, what is good for me. So a lot of times people don't understand that it's not just your strengths that make you valuable, it's your weaknesses. It's the ugly, the bad and the ugly. You know, and the more you really pay attention to those sides that you don't want to look at, the more you begin to appreciate all of you versus an aspect of you.
Good stuff.
Right. You know, due to my great coach, J.L. Harris, just saying, say, for example, so in my position with the government and being a business owner, I started out in the power lane. It was like I felt like I needed power just to feel better about myself, or, you know, like where I feel like I wasn't enough. So I'm like, oh, I'm this, so I can do this. Now I want to feel valued because I've kind of let go of the power of having that first, because like in my role now, I love to empower others and to see them flourish and to grow. So now it's just more, I'm like in the position of receiving value. Like if somebody told me they valued or I was of assistance, that's more to me than power now. I mean, I still struggle on some things. Don't get me wrong, depending on what it is, because I do have, control issues sometimes. But overall, power.
No, I agree with both. Heavier with what Jonathan said. I feel that majority of people strive for power just because of the way that it is put out there in our society. So we live in a day and age and a generation that basically rewards and memorializes power. So I think what people wants to seek is value, like what they think, they haven't even figured it out yet that it is value, but power is the vehicle that is most memorialized and most like champion, and what you see the most as like, oh, good job, and it's our metric for success and for who's an influencer and who's who we watching, that it tricks a lot of people into thinking that you need to seek that first in order to be considered of value or bringing value to your community.
All right. Good stuff. Did anybody else want to add? Were you about to say something? Add something, Jonathan?
Oh, no, I was just scratching. But I did want to say that a lot of times, like with power, is really people think that the more power they have, the more they can control their life or control services. And in turn, all they're looking for is freedom. So a lot of times there are so many people that are so traumatized that we're traumatized by certain things that we feel if I have more control, so a lot of times when people, I did a video about this the other day, but when you give, a lot of times that's you trying to control the narrative because you don't want to feel alone or you don't want to feel less than, or there are certain things that you don't want to feel. So when I think of power nowadays, when I look at people or when I look at situations from being in certain situations, it's a control thing, but it's really just a vulnerability thing. You know what I'm saying? It's a traumatic experience that a person has been through, a traumatic experience that has limited them from actually seeing the truth of who they are, to understanding again how valuable they actually are.
Wow. Good stuff. Y'all got me thinking now with these questions. All right. So our last question is, what are some steps that you've taken to, it can be your own personal steps or some suggestions that you have for people to become who they want to be?
Going back to what Kat said, I think like to become the person that you want to be, don't be afraid to ask for help from the right people. From the right people. But don't be afraid to ask for help. Don't be afraid to get help. Because I think on your journey, it's that quote. It says that if you want to go alone, you can go fast. But if you want to go if you can go further, if you go with a group of people. I just paraphrased the crap out of that. But
yeah,
it's kind of like don't be afraid to ask for help. Get help.
Yeah. I would even and if you choose, I'm gonna piggyback on that again. If you choose friends, make sure you identify who your wise and healthy friends are.
Oh yeah.
Because we know who they are, Yeah. So please make sure you identify that. Anybody else?
Yeah, I had 3, but one Jonathan took.
Had to jump in while I already knew you had it.
No, that's probably like the best life hack I ever used was getting a mentor, getting a coach, getting somebody who was kind of a couple steps ahead of where I was trying to go. It's like the ultimate way to like scale a little bit faster. If you can learn through someone else and from someone else. I think everybody listening to this today should go find a mentor, and that'll take you far. I think the other thing too for me, this again is just for me, but was to study. So to actually, once I knew what I was trying to achieve, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna be an expert in this. Or if people are leaning on me as thoughts that make sense, like I'm gonna have the data, I'm gonna have the intellect, I'm gonna have you know, I must read, I'm gonna do whatever seminars, webinars, whatever I need to do to advance my knowledge base and expand my wisdom on this earth. And then the last thing I would say is self-care. So you're not going anywhere 6 feet under. So you got to take care of yourself like none other. Like nobody else is going to take care of you better than you take care of you, starting with your physical body. You know, everybody is always looking to elevate consciousness and be all spiritual. And then meanwhile, they got 6 deficiencies and 3 diseases and 6 medications. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. You know, you can't be expanding consciousness and can't hold an educated conversation on the current state of your physical health, because it's your physical body that's going to help you to attack what it is that you're trying to attack with the mentor, with the no fear, with the confidence. And, you know, if you're too tired, then it's out the window because your hormones are imbalanced. It's out the window. So I would just say take care of yourself first.
Yeah.
Cat, just putting people bit now.
I'm just saying.
Just go ahead. Just drop it. Look. Message.
Yolanda, do you have anything to add with all that good stuff that was just said?
Oh, I'm
from
like,
both
what
of them.
I'm like, what was the question again?
What would be some things that you would offer that people, or some steps that could be taken to become the person that you want to be? Some advice you would give?
I would say working through your trauma, as what we say, our shadow work, those things that hold us back, like working through those relationships. Like with me, it's my dad, like working through those relationships so I can show up in spaces that I need to show up in. So I think it's the inner work, just working on yourself. I think that would be my number one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, all this is really good. I know I can pull from each source. I do, and I did, and and I continue to loop it when I need to. I think that for me, it's understanding like what works for me too, as far as like my toolkit and like what to pull. So I know for me, prayer works. I know for me, meditation works. I know for me, a walk. I know for me, talking to healthy people, therapy, exercising, eating clean, drinking water, having fun. Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. Having a
just started
clean
before
space, you know, having a clean space. And I'm interjecting fun in there because I'm actually one of those people who have to learn how to have fun. Like I'm well, you know what? I'm having to relearn. I used to know how to have fun. I'm having to relearn how to have fun. But all of that is a part of my toolkit. Even travel and rest is a part of my toolkit. So I have to know like at which point, which one of those I need to pull to get me through in those moments. All right, so that is the end. Does anybody want to offer anything else? Any last final thoughts?
God has blessed you with an amazing gift. Next time, I will make sure I go through each question at least 3 hours before him. This was great. This was not. It really, honestly, this was good. You know, it's cool to pour, but this was something that I feel like just the conversation, the questions just sharpened me. So I want to go and like really just like, I don't know, sit and think about it even more. I want to journal. So thank you, Ayisha. Thank you for this platform. Thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you for even coming on and being willing. Yeah. All right.
I'll say too, I appreciate this because we don't get to get together often and have such like advanced level conversations all the time. So this is very much appreciated. I would encourage everybody who watched to actually go through and answer the questions for themselves. and just
Yeah,
see
and
what comes.
yes, well, thank you so much for that too, because as I was saying before you guys came on, the initial thought process was, I've seen this question before. The question was, are you the person that you want to be? I saw the question, and then for whatever reason, probably within the past week, Oprah posed the question, and it made me think about it a little bit more. And I was thinking about like how we break our own hearts daily by not being the person that we want to be. And so, you know, like I was saying earlier, we often talk about how other people have broken our hearts, family members, loved ones, significant others. But when we're not, and we're not walking into the person that we know we're supposed to be and who we're supposed to be, I feel like it's self-inflicted in that we're breaking our own hearts daily. And so I wanted to have this conversation to unpack that so that we don't continue to break our own hearts. Because I feel like once we master and we have an idea and a blueprint of who we know we're supposed to be, then we can put that energy out there, and then we can become magnets. I think, Jonathan, you said that this weekend, that we can become magnets for what it is that we know we're supposed to have once we're clear on who we're supposed to be. So that's why, I don't know, God was just throwing these questions. I don't even know where the questions came from, but they just came. So to give more clarity on it. So I'll probably have to go through and do it myself to unpack these questions a little bit further. But the audience, I have been getting such good feedback from our discussions. Apparently people like the way that we flow together.
Oh.
And our dialogue, because I've been definitely getting DMs talking about just everyone individually and how we mesh together. So I have an appreciation for that. So you'll be seeing some more of us. And that's my way of letting y'all know I'll be asking y'all back again.
I was like, I see what you did there.
Oh, yeah.
I see what you did there.
Yeah, let me just go ahead and reel you on in and put you on the spot like y'all did me.
Touche.
I'm down for the
Like you did me. But I will be back on in 2 weeks. It won't be next week. It won't be the week after. In 2 weeks, we'll reconvene. All right.
Sounds great.
All right. And again, let's remind everybody where to find you.
You can find me at Jonathan the Medium or www.jonathanlharris.com.
All right.
All social media platforms, Elevate with Dr. K, website elevatewithdrk.com. Practice is Mind, Body, Spirit Wellness Center in Atlanta, Georgia.
Wow. Okay. My website is yolandaj.com. And my Instagram is Yolanda Stone Psychic. Yeah.
All right. And I am Ayisha Zakia Beautiful Life on all platforms. And my website is www.beautifullife.com. So please visit us all. All right. Have a good evening.
Thank you. Bye.